Happy Friday to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team. We have really had a nice week here, and we're heading in to a nice weekend, if you don't mind some really hot air moving our way. In fact, we're going to be near a record high temperature here on Saturday afternoon. Sunday is also going to be really warm with temperatures in the mid 80s, even some upper 80s in some spots. We are going to see some changes moving in, and that's going to be a few more clouds are going to block out the sun at times through the weekend. You'll just notice a few more of those clouds that'll be here with us, generally partly cloudy on your Saturday, and then mostly cloudy for Sunday. We'll let you know how that could impact your Easter sunrise services coming up in just a little bit. But first, let me show you what we're watching as we go through the next couple of days here. Sunshine and a few more clouds. Not a complete overcast all day long or anything. We're still going to have a good bit of sunshine on Saturday with just kind of mixing in with some clouds. It's going to be Sunday when we do see a few more of those clouds. And we're talking about near record heat. On Saturday, we'll be most likely 1 degree away from a record high temperature. On Sunday, 2 to 3 degrees away from a record high temperature. And we are setting up for a wetter pattern going into next week. It's not going to be a washout or anything like that. We're just talking about a better chance next week for some scattered showers that'll be moving into our area. And take a look at the pollen count for today. It did come down a little bit. Now remember yesterday, we were in the 400s, and I was telling you it was going to be interesting to see once these temperatures move back up into the 80s if that pollen would start coming back up a little bit more. And we were noticing those warmer temperatures there for your Thursday. It wasn't really reflected that much in the pollen count this morning, 366, mainly from tree pollens. That's mulberry, oak, pine, sycamore, and juniper. Grasses are moderate, weeds are low, and mold is back up into the high range. And you can see how this kind of compares with the other days that we've had this week. I'll show you this to you full so you can get a better look at it. And remember, at the end of March, beginning of April, that's when we had those really high pollen count numbers when all that pine pollen was just going crazy. That's when we had those layers and layers of yellow all over the place. But then those numbers were really high still. We normally peak at the end of March and beginning of April, and that kind of holds true here for the first week of April, where we had those counts in the 5s and 7,000s. And then the next week we had the rain that came in, dropped us to 86, really washed out a lot of that pollen, then came back up into the thousands, and then we were back to the thousands on the 15th, the 2000s on the 16th, and then back down now to 366, which is in the moderate range. So take a look at what we're expecting going into Saturday. I do think that we'll still have some of that pollen around. With the heating, it is still going to be there, maybe trying to grow a little bit more here for the pollen count for tomorrow. But the near record heat is going to be coming in the afternoon hours, mainly between the hours of 2 and 6 o'clock is when it is going to be hottest. And we really think that the high, getting up to 87 degrees, will be closer to 4, 5 o'clock. When we'll see that highest temperature of the day, and we think that would be 87. There will be a lot of temperatures even around the metro area that will be in those mid and even some upper 80s in spots. There could be some individual areas that get up to 88, 89 degrees. But again, officially for Atlanta, we're thinking it's going to be 87. So what you need to do, wear the summer clothes and be sure to hydrate. Your body's just not quite used to temperatures this warm yet. So drink plenty of fluids so that you won't get dehydrated. And here's a look at what we're talking about with that near record heat. We're expecting the high of 87. The record is 88. That was set in 1941. And the average high for this time of year, 74 degrees. So we're way above the average. And that record is way above the average too. But again, we think we'll miss it by just 1 degree here on your Saturday afternoon. All right, let's talk about Easter sunrise. The question we get asked a lot this time of year when we get to the Easter weekend is, when is sunrise? So that people can be in time for the sunrise services. Now, the other thing, though, that I want you to be aware of is because you have to get there early before sunrise, right? And you're wondering if it's going to be pitch black or just how dark it's going to be when you arrive at your destination. So I want to show you the differences in some of the twilight times. Now, the twilight begins at 5:31 on Easter Sunday morning. Now, that means that's when it's going to be dark. And between 5:30 and 7, that's when the sky, especially on the eastern horizon, is going to start to lighten up just a little bit. It's going to be a slow process. By 6:34, that's what is known as civil twilight. And that's when, even though the sun is still below the horizon, there will still be a lot of light there in the sky. Again, especially there to the east where the sun is about to come up. So if you're going to be at Stone Mountain, climbing the mountain, there's also, I believe, a sunrise service at Piedmont Park. There are a lot of different sunrise services all around the area. So just know that around 6:30 or before that, that's when you'll start seeing more light in the sky. But the sun officially comes up for those services at 7 o'clock in the morning. And the question after that is going to be, will we be able to see the sunrise, or will we have any clouds around? Now, we won't have any rain, but it does look like there will be some clouds around. Hopefully, again, not a complete overcast. There may be some holes in those clouds or thinning in those clouds that we would hopefully be able to see the sun coming up versus a completely overcast sky. And the temperatures are going to be kind of mild. There have been a lot of Easter Sunday sunrise services where it's just been cold out there. Now, you know, Easter falls on a different date every year. Sometimes we have Easter at the end of March. Sometimes it's the beginning of April. This is a later Easter on the 20th. And so it is going to be a little milder with temperatures that are going to be in the 60s. But again, we'll be fighting some of that cloud cover in order to hopefully at least get some peaks of the sunrise. And then during the day on Sunday, still dealing with some of those clouds mixing in with the sun, and it's going to warm up again. We don't think it'll be as warm on Sunday as it's going to be on Saturday, but we're thinking we'll get up to about 85 degrees. That'll be about 3 degrees away from the record for Sunday's date. So just be aware of that. Take a look at radar right now. We're dry. Nothing's really going on here. We've been watching some showers that have been building out to the west, and this is part of a bigger system stretching from Texas all the way up to the Great Lakes region. Right now, nothing really major is developing along that line, but this is the area where there is a level 2 of 5 risk from Chicago down to Texas here, and there may be a few scattered strong thunderstorms developing along that line. But it's not going to be in our area. We are going to be dry tonight and for tomorrow. Take a look how this advances more down to the south. It doesn't really come any closer to us during the day tomorrow, maybe just a little bit to the east, but most of this goes into parts of southwestern Texas and then up to the southern parts of Missouri where that level 2 of 5 risk stays. And then on Sunday, inching just a little bit closer to us here, but still not over. So we're not only not expecting any storms on Sunday, we're not expecting any rain either. Just a few more of those clouds that are mixing in. But that severe weather threat will be in the northern parts of Louisiana, covering much of Arkansas into Missouri. And there's even a level 3 risk that goes into parts of northern Missouri and into areas of Illinois there, north of St. Louis, where they have that severe weather threat for Sunday. Take a look at the almanac for today. We got up to 84 degrees. Not bad, right? Our morning low is 54. That is below where we should, actually right at close to where we should be. The low is, but the high was 10 degrees warmer than what we should be. Actually, our average high for this time of year is 74 degrees. Still not seeing any rain here, and we're watching that deficit grow. We're a little bit more than an inch below where we should be in rainfall for the year. Temperatures at this hour are coming down a little bit. Remember, we topped off at 84 degrees today. We're in the 70s still, 77 here in town. What are the warmer spots around? Marietta, you're almost as warm as we are. You're at 76 at this hour. Duluth is also 76. Some lower 70s from Rome, Canton, Gainesville, and Athens. 73 in Covington, lower 70s in Thomaston, even some 60s just down the road in Peachtree City and also into the LaGrange area. Saturday, going to be a nice day, but it is going to be warming. We will see sunshine, but a few more clouds mixing in. We'll have partly cloudy skies in the morning at 60 degrees. We start climbing pretty quickly to 65 at 9, 75 at 11, and then by 1 o'clock, we're in those lower 80s, and then topping off at 87 in the afternoon. I'm thinking that'll be closer to, between the 4 or 5 o'clock hour when we see those temperatures up to about 87 degrees. So the forecast track shows that southerly flow. You see those arrows here coming out of the south? That's what's transporting that warmer air into our direction. And in the morning hours on Saturday, we'll still have that southerly flow. Partly cloudy skies here. Notice just some of these clouds as they're trying to filter in during the day, but again, not a complete overcast. We'll just call it partly cloudy during the day on Saturday, but with that warm air in place, then Sunday morning, you see a little better coverage of clouds here, where there may be just some holes here and there that could give us a few glimpses of the sun as it's rising. And then really through the day on Sunday, I do think we'll see more clouds than sunshine, but these clouds will not be giving us any rain. I think we'll see maybe a little more sun trying to break through there in those afternoon hours. Then we get into Monday. We'll have some clouds to start on Monday, but still no rain here. And it's going to take that rain a while before it gets here. This is at 9 o'clock. This is still showing us not without much rain at all. And that's all still out to the west of us. And eventually some of that may move into our area. So here again is another look at those potential records. We're just talking about 87 for a high Saturday. The record is 88. 85 for a high Sunday. The record there is 88 too. So I do think both days will be near record highs, but most likely not tying or breaking those records. In fact, here's another look at the rest of the high temperatures for the week. Once we get through the weekend, we'll see those temperatures starting to trend down just a little bit. Now on Monday, we'll be at about 84 degrees and then lower 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday will be the days we'll see a little better chance for some of those showers around and definitely not as much sunshine. So that's why we think those temperatures are going to be cooling down here just a little bit. So here's a look at the European model. And you can see what we're watching with the a few more clouds here on Easter Sunday. But this is what we're watching, that rain that is still well out to the west of us. Even on Tuesday, this model is trying to bring it into northwest Georgia later on Monday. But remember the model I just showed you a moment ago still shows it out to the west. So that's why we've included a low rain chance for Monday. And even when it comes in here, we think it'll be later in the day. But that starts building out to the west. Also remember, this is the same system that is causing the showers and potential for storms to the west right now, where they have that level 2 risk. Once this gets our way, we think it's going to be a lot weaker and it's going to be a little more less organized once it pushes into our direction. So at this point, we're really not overly concerned about a big time severe weather risk with it. There might be some rumbles of thunder late Monday, especially into Tuesday and Wednesday. But these are going to be just more scattered showers. Here we are Tuesday. You see some of these showers in North Georgia, back into Alabama, moving down to the Gulf Coast region, and then continuing with us on Wednesday, but kind of breaking up a little bit. So kind of a disorganized system, not as impressive when it gets to us as it has been out to the west, where they've been dealing with the potential for severe weather. But we'll be transitioning to just a wetter pattern, not a washout next week. Just a little wetter pattern that's going to be moving in here for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then going into Thursday, still not a huge chance for rain, just back down pretty much to a 20% chance for showers for Thursday, as well as into Friday. And once we get to the end of next week, we will see those temperatures rising just a little bit more. By next Friday, we're expecting to be back up to around 87 degrees. So all in all, this week is going to trend every day with temperatures above average, and through the work week next week, that is when we're also going to see the temperatures that are again above average, but the rain chances that come up a little bit. We had this prolonged dry pattern this week, but next week it's going to be a little bit of a wetter pattern. But remember, not a washout, just scattered showers pretty much as we move into next week with those hit and miss showers that are going to be with us throughout that period. So here's a look now at what we're watching with the 7-day outlook, actually the weekend outlook, that shows the near record warmth on Saturday, and we'll call it partly cloudy skies. The low in the morning at 60, a high of 87. Then going into Sunday, we'll have a high of 60, a low of 63 in the morning. Excuse me, for those sunrise services. And then we'll see the high temperatures up to 85. So still warm on Sunday, but just not as hot as it's going to be on Saturday. Now 85 is still hot, but just again, not as hot as on Saturday. So here is that 7-day outlook showing those highs of 87 Saturday, 85 on Sunday, and just a few more clouds on Sunday, and not as much sunshine. Then we have the 30% chance for showers on Monday, and we're going to be tweaking this timing a little bit once the models hopefully come together a little bit more on the arrival of these showers moving in. Right now we're calling for the 30% chance for showers later on Monday, a high of 84. A little better chance for showers on Tuesday at 40%. Wednesday, it still didn't look really that organized as it moves in here, but about a 30% chance for showers. Then on Thursday and Friday, The rain chance doesn't totally go away, but it does come down to about a 20% chance for showers, and that's when those temperatures start moving back up. We will keep you posted throughout the weekend on any changes with the temperatures and rain chances. Dominica Davis will be in tomorrow morning. Danielle Moss will be in Saturday night. Nicole will still be here tomorrow morning, and then Danielle, and then Dominica Sunday morning, and I'll be back with you Sunday night to walk you through any changes for the weekend. Have a great night.